What's up, YouTube? Here's what we're doing today. Try to make this 10 minutes or less. No promises, though, because I always get long-winded. Like and subscribe if you like this stuff. So I have been on the search for the best Swiss Army knife. I have all my tactical blades. I have OTFs. I have paramilitary 2. I have all kinds of really cool stuff. My Lion Steels, MKMs. But I've been trying to find if there is a Swiss Army knife that gives me a larger, pointy, stabby, more, if you will, tactical-ish type blade. Basically, if I need something heavy duty, I need to pierce something, it needs to have a good, strong, sharp point, needs to be able to have a lock on it, so for a safety, you don't have to worry about closing on my fingers. One-handed opening, pocket clip would be nice as well. I've been killing myself trying to find them. You know, I've had some Swiss Army knives I've had for a while. These guys right here, pick this one up cheap, pick this one up. This is Suiza, which actually is a nice little knife. This one is just too small. I would never carry it. I could carry it as an accompaniment to a larger knife, so throw it in my pocket as a little mini tool, and then carry a larger blade. But I don't, want to weigh down my pockets with too much crap. I like the Suiza. This is nice because this actually fits my hand a lot better than that, and it has a locking blade. Just by pushing that, moves the lock bar out of the way. So that one's kind of cool. I might carry this if I have to go super, super discreet. And I've had this one, of course, the older Wenger style, now made by Victorinox, that has the locking blade, decently stabby and pointy. It is one-hand opening. It opens pretty well, but it's a big knife, tall, long, and it's got the corkscrew, which I don't like. I accidentally ordered the Ranger Grip 79 instead of the 78 a year and a half ago. In any case, so I was looking at, I've had this. I like this a lot, but it's a slip joint. I have to open it with two hands, unlock it, and close it with two hands. So nice, very good usable knife once it's open, but it doesn't have the deployment I'm looking for. So then someone has suggested one of these, the Victorinox Lockpick, or Locksmith. And it's a single-handed opening version of basically that, but then it adds two other tools, a file with a hacksaw, and a saw. So I was like, okay, and it's got, the can opener, bottle opener, screwdriver, Phillips head. It's got all the stuff I want, but it's really slick. It's kind of weird because this is like a pebbled texture, and this is smooth and looks shiny. So you think this would be more slick, but in playing with it, there's more friction on this than there is here. My hand wants to slide on this more. And between being a very stiff spring, this piece being so far away from the pivot point. I mean, this is like an inch away from that pivot up here. So it's not a move it like this. It's a out and around, which makes it very slow. And if you're not gripping the knife just right, because the spring's so tight, you end up pulling it out of your hand. See how it's kind of shifted in there? And I'm only grabbing it by my fingertips. So I've got to grab it kind of here and clamp it and then do that. But look, I grabbed it too low. So now my thumb doesn't want to go any further. It's not able to do that, so I should have gripped it up here. And that's the point of this, is that if you grip it just right, it does open one-handed. But, if I'm having to grab it and my hands are wet, God forbid I have gloves on, I'm under duress or anything like that, or I'm in a hurry, and I don't do it just right, it doesn't open right. And then trying to close it, you still have to basically, you can kind of train yourself to sort of close it one-handed. But as much as I like it, and it's a great knife, great tool set, good size, heft, the one-handed opening is crap. The point is crap. It's a safety point. It's like those safety scissors you had in kindergarten. So I'm like, what makes the best Swiss Army knife? Because these check certain boxes. Other than this one being just kind of big, it actually checks the most boxes. So what did I find? What did I finally settle on? A knife I used to have, and I gave to my father-in-law because I saw he had a crap knife in his hand. I said, here, let me give you one of these. This checks more boxes, and I'm going to explain why I think that the best Swiss Army knife for me and what I'm looking for in a knife, my best Swiss Army knife isn't the Swiss Army knife. It's the Rake, Rookie, whatever. This is the LD43 Rescue Tool. Pocket clip, not plastic. G10 with good grip. Thicker Sandvik steel blade. Lock. One hand opening, one hand close. Also notice, can't do that with a Swiss Army knife. I'm not even giving it wrist flick. I'm just flicking it with my thumb. Decent lockup. Also has seatbelt cutter or rope or anything like that where you just need good serrated. It's curved convex, so you're pulling into the rope or strap instead of the blade, which could slide off. That thing will rip through just about anything. Nice saw blade, comparable to the damn Victorinox. That's a really good saw blade, actually. Also has can opener, wire stripper, all that good stuff. Has tweezers, has a carbide glass breaker. Phillips screwdriver, has an awl that, let's see, does it rip my thumbnail off to pull it out? No, although it's not much better than the Victorinox. But very similar design, nice and pointy, hole for sewing, nice edge. Wicked sharp, sharper than the Victorinox. Doesn't have a can opener, but I don't know when the last time I've ever opened a can was. And if I needed to open it with one of these other tools, I'm sure I could, or just stab it with a knife. It's very soft steel typically, or tin, so you're not going to really wreck your blade on that. But it does have a carabiner, so I could clip that to rope, belt loop, strap on a backpack, something like that. Really cool blade. So we're in basically about the size and weight of that. Very comparable. I mean, it might be a millimeter or two. But for that, I get a better deploying blade. Ooh, that time I didn't quite enough. Still got to break it in. This thing's brand new. I just took it out of the box. But already I can flick it without having to flick the wrist. So good action that's only going to get sweeter. I'll go ahead and put a drop of oil in that and sit on the couch for an hour and just work on that. And that'll get that loosened up as those metal parts start to wear in. Yeah, thicker blade, nice stabby point, good belly for slicing, one hand opening, one hand close, and a pocket clip. So it's good Sandvik. I think it is 12C27. Yeah. Don't mark me off for this. I'm going to have to oil it. I'm going to have to monkey around with it a little bit. Yeah, that's just got to break in. Anyway, let's see what we got. Sandvik 12C27. So decent steel, nice high grind, really good polish job. I mean, that looks beautiful. I'm not crazy about the yellow, but it's the rescue knife. It's the rescue tool. So the Victorinox has the same kind of yellow color. I have seen you can take some RIT dye in hot water and you can actually go in and dye that. But then I don't want to, if it gets wet, I don't want to have to worry about the dye running in my pocket or staining my hand. But definitely a cool knife. Like I said, I'm just got to sit here and work it around and break it in a little bit, get some oil in there, and I should be able to sit here and flick that thing open. But even without it flicking, it being so close to the edge and having that thumb stud that grabs your thumb, it's a much easier opening experience than any of these. So for that alone, it wins. And the shape of the blade, that's a good stabby utility knife. I mean, I can use that for normal cutting tasks, but for the criteria of what if I had to use it as a weapon, having the lock, good strong engagement. I mean, I've got to really push that bar out of the way to close that. I think this is going to be marvelous. So that is the Rookie. I paid $59 in Amazon Prime. This I had to buy from Victorinox directly. My local knife store couldn't find it, and Amazon didn't carry it, so I had to actually go to Victorinox, and that was $90. And doesn't work as well. It's more finicky, and it's got that blunt ass point on it. So the closest one I can get to is this one here. That one actually has a pretty stabby blade, opens nice, and I do actually prefer the lock on the side like that. Of course, I just closed it on my finger. Luckily, I got a fingernail there. But, yeah. I like this. This is going to make it very heavily into my rotation. That's a knife I could carry when I'm riding. I can clip it where I need to clip it. If I needed to clip it, I've got all the tools that I need. I've got a good blade that I can use for just about anything. It's physically a thicker, much stronger blade. It's got that little bit of front to back rocking, but they all the locking Swiss Army knives have that. You're not going to get the kind of lockup like you do on a paramilitary 2 or any a normal flipper or liner lock. So for that, I'm not going to count against it because it's no better or worse than those. But having that pocket clip, having G10 with really good grip, having that nice stabby pointy blade that actually works really well one-handed, and it's cheaper. Not bad. Not by much. It's still a $60 knife, but better than a $90 knife. It's doing better. It's checking more boxes than these. So we're right at 10 minutes. I'm going to cut it short. So that's my thoughts right now. I'm going to carry this for a while, maybe do a follow-up review. But based on what I'm seeing so far, just playing around with it, of all the Swiss Army knives I've tried, this one checks the most boxes. So for me, the best Swiss Army knife isn't a Swiss Army knife. Well, enjoy. I'm sure I'll get lots of hate mail. That's okay. I'm used to it.